We are first of all very happy to host today Johann König, the founder of König Gallery from Berlin. It's a very avant-garde and exceptionally successful gallery, young gallery. We want to hear more about this. I could wait hours and hours for you, Mr. König, to know more about the success story. You're a you're multinational. Actually, it's a multinational gallery operating in different countries, and it all happened in about 18 years. So your success story, your strategy, and I think could be a very good guidance to other people in the art market. So I just want to ask you first. Tell us about your story. I know that you come from an artistic family. Your mother was artist. Your father was curator. So your interest started at a very young age. Tell us. Start with that if you want.
Sure. I mean, I would say that I was at the beginning, my interest was not that high. I was more annoyed by contemporary art. But then later, in my teenage years, my father was a dean at an art school in Frankfurt, and then I started to become friends with artists such as Jeppe Hein and others who were students at my father's academy, and then. He moved, one second, Greta, das ist zu laut. Du musst es leiser machen. And then we, so he moved to Cologne to become the director of the Museum Ludwig. And then there was somehow a more free relationship possible between students to become artists and myself. And then I noticed I wanted to work with these people and also live in that kind of artistic freedom lifestyle. And then I thought of becoming an artist myself, which I didn't dare to, and also didn't have really the urge to do it. And then I thought, okay, what's the nearest thing to an artist? And then I opened a space in Berlin. I kind of avoided the name gallery and wanted to create a space where artists could show work and where I could produce exhibitions and support artistic careers of artists. And that was a gallery. So the goal was then to show work and finance the next shows by selling artworks from the shows. And then, one second. Peter, mach noch mal ein bisschen leiser. Ich kann mein eigenes Wort nicht verstehen. And then originally I was actually planning to leave the commercial world again and become a curator, but then I noticed what freedom and independence I was able to gain by running the gallery. And now, actually I can show you, now I'm in my space in Berlin, which is a former church. And we sort of have a 3-channel gallery. Mainly it's selling unique works like Sarah Morris, Friedrich Kunert. We are in the midst of rehanging. Or here we see Claudia Comte or Robert Janitz here. And so we sell and represent contemporary artists, but we also do. We also have a bookstore, and we do produce limited editions, which you see here. And then we also produce souvenirs, which are like unlimited editions here. This is a yoga mat by Jeppe Hein. Then we have tennis balls by Emgreen Draxe, tennis socks, a cap by Monica Bonvicini, Katharina Grosse t-shirts, all that type of, we published a really nice calendar of all female artists from the gallery. And actually here you can see quite well, that's the building I am in right now.
St. Agnes,
So,
St. Agnes,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, which we had the luck to acquire from the Catholic community. And we also have a sculpture garden, which you can see here a little bit. It's too dark now outside. And then let me show you also the big space upstairs. So this is somewhat of our flagship gallery. And then we also run gallery spaces in London, Tokyo, and soon to be opened and announced Seoul, which are kind of side projects.
So why you didn't want to become an artist?
I mean, I didn't, because I think if I would have had the urge to do it, I would have become an artist. So here we are. But also I thought that people wouldn't really take me serious because of my very prominent curator father. I had a friend, she's Harald Seemann's daughter. And I had the feeling that she wasn't really taken so serious. Here we see the end of Katharina Gross's exhibition, which originally would have continued for a little while, but now we are in lockdown. So we decided to take it down. And this is the former church here. So, and this, we did the renovation, we put in that floor.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
That was a beautiful exhibition. It's such a shame that it has to close.
Do the lockdown will last longer than a couple of weeks?
We have a new lockdown now. We have a second lockdown. We had like a hard lockdown in March, and now we have a second. Then we had a soft lockdown where all museums were closed, but commercial spaces such as galleries were allowed to stay open. And now, since last Wednesday, so only 2 days ago, we have another hard lockdown, which means everything has completely to shut down. So now we have no more public visits, and after tomorrow, the gallery is closed.
Now, why you didn't want to keep all these works hanged and wait for the end of the lockdown and lengthening the exhibition time?
Because we have a new show coming up in January.
Oh, I see.
Actually, it was it's a
the connection is
Japanese artist, and so everybody is invited to write down their hope. You see, it says "I hope," and then you can write down your hopes, or you can make a drawing, and then this will be part of the installation, which will come up in January upstairs, which will be similar to her presentation at the Venice Biennial Japanese pavilion. So she will have a big, it's like kind of a wish fountain, like in Japanese culture, where everybody can leave some sort of a hope and comment, and this will be part of the installation.
Great. So your gallery is a very interdisciplinary gallery. When you look at the show in London, there is a large installation. There are canvas works. There are digital works. So how you keep all these different angles under one name?
Yeah, actually, it's like König, so to speak, is a brand, and then here you see how it will look. 1 second. So you see, it's like here you see. We also publish a magazine, which is called König.
Yes,
here you see the installation of Katharina Grosse in the Hamburger Bahnhof, and then here this is how the installation look, and this is also available on newsstand, so people write down their hopes, and they take it out, and then this becomes part of the exhibition. I mean, this magazine, for example, we finance with advertising clients, with like different alcohol and luxury magazines, and then we have We have like König Gallery, König Souvenir, Edition König, then the magazine. I'm doing a podcast. So we somehow run the gallery more like a media house.
Exactly. Exactly. You're having morning talks as well. Saturday morning talks.
When the first hard lockdown came, I started a 10 a.m. series where I visited studios like digitally, virtually on Instagram, visited them in the studio, but I also now I do it like occasionally, not every day anymore. But last week I talked to Dirk Boll, who's the CEO of Christie's for Europe and Middle East and several regions. And he published a book on crisis. I talked with him about it. Next Wednesday, we are going to a gallery in Cologne where we're going to look at Erwin Wurm and Lars Eidinger's exhibition. So I'm doing different conversations with artists, collectors, like you do now.
Exactly. Do you curate shows as well for other people, other galleries, for for museums, for example?
Yes, we are. I'm going to create a big exhibition in the Netherlands near Amsterdam about senses, about seeing, feeling, hearing, listening, and so on. And then, of course, we create corporate collections. So we put collections together for corporate clients, and then also we do consultancy for public art for cities and collections. And I just created a big exhibition. Actually, I just forgot about it at the Hall Art Foundation, which is a very big castle in the middle of Germany, which used to be Georg Baselitz studio. And there I created a show bringing together all artists from Berlin, or like a selection of artists from Berlin.
So the public art shows. We just, while waiting for you, we looked at these shows. The public sculptures. So these are permanent sculptures that your artist somehow, or your artist produce for public commissions.
Exactly, like we did, for example, a project for the Copenhagen airport, and then we did a project for the Kanzleramt, the president's office here in Berlin, or a big project for a city square in Mainz. We're doing a big subway stop with Katharina Grosse for the Olympics in Qatar, in Doha. And yeah, a lot of different, and that's kind of supported also by our sculpture garden. We have but it's too dark now to show you. Mm-hmm. We have it's a bit dark. We have a sculpture garden where we have a focus on public art.
Mm-hmm. So you encourage your artists to participate to these kind of competitions?
We do the competitions for them, but we are in the privileged situation that we get a lot of requests from clients where they ask us to organize the project for them.
For a particular place.
Yeah, for example, and I think that also works quite well because I show you. I hope the internet connection stays.
Yes.
You see, that's a big, how you call it, Wärmflasche.
Yes, hot water pot.
And this is a building from the outside.
Oh, I see. We wouldn't say that it's a church. It doesn't look like a church.
Yeah, it's a modernist church. It's a church from the 60s. But these churches are not so popular. And we are in Kreuzberg here, and that's a not very Christian neighborhood. So they had no use for it anymore, and that's why we were able to acquire it. Here, by the way, I mean, a lot is also driven by the team. Here you see is the offices on the two floors for the sales team. So we are in other German comparison, we are fairly large. We are more than 40 people working here.
Oh, I see. Actually, when we take the totality of König, how many people work in all these spaces?
I think globally we are about 50 something permanently, but then we have a lot of freelancers and
Mhm.
and and people from project to project.
Now, an interesting question is, as an economist also, are these galleries operate independently? I mean, when they have to choose the artists, etc., or it's like really branches of the mother gallery?
I would say they are definitely involved in the process, but the logistics and London has its own accounting, but Tokyo and Seoul are fully uh, kind of structured and organized from here. But it has independent sales team on the ground.
Oh, I see. So, are there any exchanges of, collector bases from branches between branches, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think really it's more of a global undertaking, not so much about. I think that I think it has to be a mix of like a local outreach with a global brand, maybe.
Mhm.
But we can clearly see also in terms of Corona now, and anyway in our DNA or popularity or strength, we are um, very strong in the German-speaking region.
Oh, I see. Yes. Now, how you decide to open a branch in a city, in a country? I wish there is a König Istanbul. What is how it happens?
Yeah, we are thinking about closing Tokyo actually, and that's why Istanbul wouldn't be really realistic because of the custom situation. So, and that was one pro argument for Seoul, that there is no VAT, there's no customs on art. So,
Mm.
and that's a real headache in Tokyo, that it's such a complicated process to bring artworks in and out, similar to Turkey. It's also quite complicated.
Exactly.
So, and that's a big downside on Germany also, that the regulations in Germany are very high. You have import duties. We have a social security for artists here, which is a great thing, but at the same time, it's a big disadvantage and downside on in the competition with other countries.
But you just opened Tokyo. I mean, it is very soon to get tired of Tokyo, or.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than a year now.
Mhm.
And the problem was we were really hoping for the Olympics, and with the current
Oh, I
situation
see. Hmm.
of COVID, Japan has no Asian tourists. Before you had a
Mhm.
lot of Chinese visitors, and that is completely not happening now.
Mhm. Mhm. And the choice of Seoul rather than Hong Kong or Shanghai is because of your artistic base. Is there, that you have artists, Korean artists?
Um, a little bit, but I would really think that it's very much about the political stability, um, the financial environment, and the unproblematic import and export of artworks. And the Korean art
Mhm.
market is really booming. And and I mean, we all know the problems Hong Kong has, and China is even more problematic in terms of import and export.
Mhm.